Hi guys, and welcome to another Bootstrap video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're looking at the new Bootstrap 5 and we're going to show you how to edit a Bootstrap 5 template. I've downloaded this beautiful template here from a site and I'll put the link below. It's from a Bootstrap Made and it's called Arsha. Simply download it and you'll have exactly the same as I'm working on here. And Bootstrap 5 is in the alpha version at the moment, but it seems to be working absolutely perfectly. And this is a nice little site. But of course, once you download a beautiful template like this, you want to populate it with your own content. Because it's not much good putting up a site that's full of lorem ipsum and people's images that are not your own. So let's get this done. So once you've got it downloaded, you'll download it as a zip file like that. Simply extract it and you'll find a folder. Inside the folder are everything we need for the actual site itself. Just simply double click on the index file and it'll open it in your browser of choice. I've already got mine open over here. Now to edit this today, I'm going to be using Brackets text editor. Brackets is absolutely free and I'll put the link to it down below the video also. So I want to open this, the index.html, which is our home page here. I want to open it with my text editor. So I'm going to right click, open with Brackets once you've got it installed. And here we are. And at the top, we've got our usual stuff. Makes it responsive there. That's the language. Put your own title in here. Whatever you want to call yours. You can add a little description, meta description about your site in between the two inverted commas there. Make sure you don't cut off those inverted commas though, but put in whatever you want to put in there. Something about what your site is involved with. And you can add keywords underneath, right there. Now the favicon, a favicon is the little icon that lives at the top of your browser here. And by default they've got a Bootstrap one. If we look in our assets folder here that's been unzipped, we'll look in the images. There's their favicon that they're using. So I'm going to go and get some of my own images quickly. Okay, well I've got a few images, and if we look inside the assets folder, you'll see an IMG images folder. I'm just going to paste mine in here. They're called different names from the ones that we've got here. And for my favicon, I'm going to use the Batman icon. And I've just put in some other images that we'll use as we go along. And I've called that brand. And it's a .png file, a portable network graphic file. So if we go back into our brackets, here's the favicon reference right here. And you can put in a different one for your Apple Touch if you want to. Mine was just called brand.ping. So if I delete that, as it's in the same folder, the images folder, as soon as I put in the B, it should find it. There it is, brand. Hover over it, it'll show you. Now if we save that, Control S, when I refresh, that should change to that little Batman logo. There we go. Okay, moving on, I guess the site title there. These are just pulling in the Google fonts that it's using at the moment and the various styles that we need for our site here. This is telling us where our style sheet is to style the site, and it's in our assets folder CSS and it's called style CSS. If we go back, we're in our assets folder. Here's the CSS and it's called style. So we can open that with our brackets as well because we may need that in a moment. Okay, let's move on down to our body. Now here's our title and our name. Call yours whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Boot 5. Control S to save. Move that back out of the way. Now when I refresh, that should change to boot 5. There we go. Now titles and things like this here, won't need to change any of this because it goes down to the various sections. So you don't need to change any of that as long as you're keeping your sections the same way round as they were. So moving on down, we've got our hero section here. Here's our title, subtitle and call to action buttons. If we go back to our brackets, move on down, done the logo. Here's the nav bar and menu. We don't need to change any of that. Of course, anything in white is the actual names that appear. So if you want to change the names of those, just simply click on them, type in what you want and delete any that you don't want. Make sure not to clip off the little pointy brackets either side there. So here's the hero section we were looking at. Here's the H1, which is our title. So let's change that from better to great. Any text, just type it in like a regular text editor. Here's a subtitle. Let's see what we have. Down below that, we've got a button. And if you look here, it's got a link, an href. Href equals, then in between the two inverted commas there is the link it's going to take you to, and that's going to take you to the about section. So I'm happy to leave that as it is. That's obviously below our hero section is, but you can put any link in there that you want. If you want to put an external link in, just put it in there, but I'm going to leave that exactly as it is. And they've got and also down below they've got a link to a YouTube video. Just simply, if you want to use a YouTube video, put the YouTube video URL in there. If you don't want to, just simply select it and delete it. I'm going to leave mine just exactly like that. Let's save that. Now this should change. I can't remember what I said. Great solutions, I think, and we have. There we go. Now this is just a floating PNG image. I've got an infographic that I've put in here and it's a PNG. Mine's called IFG. There's the one there using their hero image. Reason I'm using a PNG, it's got a transparent background, so that'll work nicely on the background there. So let's go back in and replace that image. If we go down a bit, here's the image right here. And all I need to do is put my new name in after the / of the image folder there. And it was called IFG, and it's found it straight away. Control S to save. And go back to the site. Now when I refresh, my new infographic should be there. Great. Now you may decide that you perhaps want to change the background color of this section here to whatever you want. So I'm using Google Chrome here with the great inspector tools. Most browsers do this nowadays. I'm going to right click and inspect. And here we see it's the section ID is called Hero. So we loaded our CSS file into the brackets text editor just now. Here it is right here. So I'm going to do a search for Hero. Control F to bring up a search box. I'm going to write in Hero. There it is. It's taken us straight to our Hero section. Here's the background color. Just put in any hex color you want. I'm just going to simply put in blue because I really haven't got one in mind. Control S to save. Let's go back to our site and refresh. And as you can see, that's turned that blue. Now when we go down, the nav bar is still going to change to the color it was initially. And that's the same for any section if you want to change the background. Now below this we've got sort of logos of brands, and they've got a nice little hover effect over them. They're sort of grayscale when you're not hovering and color when you are. So I think I'm going to use my Batman logo again on this, just to, for an example, to swap them out. So let's go back to our brackets, go back to our index.html, go on down, and here's our sort of brands, or the client section they're calling it. And their images are in assets, image, clients. So my image, my Batman image is right here. I'm just going to copy it, Control C, and here's the clients folder that they've got their images in. I'm going to paste it in there. It's called brand and it's a PNG file. So let's swap out that first one, and obviously you do the same thing for all the rest. So we got brand, it's found it straight away. If it doesn't, just type in the full name, brand.png. Save that. Control S and back to the site. When I refresh, that MYOB should be the little Batman symbol. There we go, and when I hover over it, it should go to color. Fantastic, great. Well, the About Us and everything here, you know how to add a link to a button. We'll just briefly go in there. It's rolling on down. Remember, all the white text here is the stuff that you want to edit. Let's say about our company. Same with all this below, just put in what you will. And learn more. Like I was saying, you can put in a reference to anywhere you want. Let's take them to my website. Now, because I'm taking them away from our site, what we can do is after the inverted commas there, just make a little space and we can say target, and it'll prompt us. We want it to be blank. That way it'll leave our site open and open this link in a new tab. So let's just check that. Control S to save, back to the site. That should say about our company now. There we go. Now this should take you to my website or my blog site. There we go, and as you can see, it's opened it in a new tab, just what we wanted. Moving on down, this is all just simple text. You know how to do that. That's another image. You know how to do that. Got another image there, more text there. These little progress bars here, let's work on those. They're really easy. So let's go back to our brackets text editor. We'll go on down. And here's our progress bars. If you can't find something, hit Control F, it'll bring up a search box and you can search for whatever it is you want to search for. And as you can see, it's highlighted our progress bars for us. Okay, so that first one is 100%. Let's change it to code and change it to 50% perhaps. So here it's HTML, the heading. I'll say code. This is the amount that's at the end there. I want to change that to 50. But if I save this now, the bar is still going to go up to 100%. And to change that, we want to go to ARIA value now, just underneath here, and we'll change that to 50. Or whatever percentage, obviously, that you want. Control S to save. Back to the site, update. And as you can see, now it says code, and it's going to 50%, and it says 50% up there. Really easy. Rolling on down, we've got services. And if we look down here, we've actually got some icons. And again, if I inspect this, it'll tell us exactly what that is. And they're box icons, which is fine. And I'll put the link below. See over here, box icons. And if you go to the box icon site, you can choose any icon you want there. Let's just have a look at the code. We're past the progress bars. Here's our icon right there, and another one right here, and another one right here, div class icon. So let's change our dribble box. That's a dribble box icon right there. If we look back at the site, get rid of my inspector now. That's dribble. Let's just change it to something else. And well, I've got one here that's a cookie. I quite like that. There it is right there. Just choose whichever one you want. Cookie. Make sure you go to font, not web component. You want to go to font down here. Just simply left click on it and it will copy it. It says it's copied. Go back to our brackets and we'll change that. We've got it highlighted here. Just to select it again, let's highlight it. We'll make sure you get the from the opening eye there, pointy one, to the closing eye of the closing tag there. Make sure you don't clip off any of the corners of the ones either side of it. And simply paste in what we just copied, which was that cookie icon. And we'll change the wording to cookie perhaps below. Save that. Let's go back to our site now. Now that should change to a cookie and this should say cookie. There we go. And simply rinse and repeat for all the other ones right here. Again, we've got some text down below and a call to action. You know how to add a link and know how to change the text. Here we go. We've got a portfolio here that allows you to pick out various different ones. That's awesome. So let's go in there and change a few of those. So again, we'll go back to our brackets. Here's our portfolio section. Here's our actual filters. Let's change one of them to say beach, because I've got a picture of a beach. And we'll have to actually change the filter name itself to beach also, filter-beach. Or whatever it is you want to call yours. Now we can add our image to any of these. Here's an image. Here's the next image. Here's the next image. And if you hover over it, it'll show you what it is. Let's change this plant to a beach. Now, if we look at this, it's in Assets, Image, Portfolio, and this one's called Portfolio 3. So if we go to our folder here, there's my beach picture. Control C, it's just called beach. I need to put it in the portfolio folder or redirect it to the other folder if you don't want to put it inside there. There it is, it's in there now. So we can switch this out to beach.jpg. And as soon as I start typing, it should find it. Yep, there it is. And we've got to change this filter up here to filter-beach to select it. And it's the same with all these images. Put in the image you want, then just tell it what filter item you want it to go to. And remember, you can change the names up here, but remember you've got to change it in the dot filter part right here. So let's save that. And we'll go back to our site. And there it says beach up there. And we can change the filters. When we get to beach, it should be just the one. There it is right there. Okay, so that's the portfolio section. And you can add plenty more by just simply, if you want to add another one, just go in to here. Go to the last one that's there. Divi will show you the closing div when you click on the opening one. Simply select the whole of that. Control C to copy, drop down a couple, Control V to paste, and I'll leave that image in there. Let's just change it to beach here. Save our changes. Let's go back to the site. I should have an extra one on the bottom here, which is going to look a bit strange. Perhaps we should have put 3 in there. There it is right there. But now when I select, we should have that one and the beach in the beach section right there. There we go. Okay, moving on down, theme section. Simply replace the image. You want to make your images the same sort of shape as theirs if you're going to use this rounded thing. You know how to change names. You know how to add a link. Just simply move on down. Here's our team section. Change his name to Bill. Again, I've got a picture of a fellow here. Let's just put him in the team section. He's called Man4. Now we can change this chap's picture here. Here's the picture, assets, image, team, team 1. Mine was called man 4, wasn't he? So it's found it as soon as I put that in there. Change his title. Again, this is all text, that's fine. If you want to put his Facebook and all that in there, we've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to get rid of one of these, just select it and delete it. Let's put a Facebook URL in here, and you want to put it in between the two inverted commas there. Make sure you don't chop those off. Quickly grab my Facebook, I guess. It's the only one I've got. Handy. And we'll paste that in there. And again, if you want to open it in a new tab, which is always a good idea if you're navigating away from the site, put in target. Found it, and then underscore blank. There we go, like that. Save that. Now Walter should be Bill White now, different title, and his image should change there. There he is. Might have used something with a darker background, but that's fine. And as you can see, we've only got 3 of the social icons here, and the Facebook should take it to my business Facebook page here. There we go. Fantastic. Moving on down, pricing. Again, that's all just text editing. Pricing section. Just put in what you want here, the white text, the dollar amount per month. Put in what you want there. Again, there's a link there to take them wherever you want. Mine with this probably want to take them to the contact page, because there's no, or contact section, which would be hashtag contact, because there's no actual sales page on here. Just save that. If we go back, I think it was a 0 one I just did. Frequently asked questions. Again, that's just all plain text. There's nothing very complicated about that. Just change out the text and titles. Now the contact. Now this gets a little bit interesting here. Let's have a look down at our contact. Okay, well, we've got a form here. We'll deal with that in a moment. We've got a sign up here. We'll deal with that in a moment. But the only thing that you don't know how to do, there's more icons there. You know how to change your icons. But the Google Map, you're not going to want their address in there. You're going to want your own map in there. So let's just take a quick look at that. We've got a width of 100% and a height of 290. Doesn't matter too much about that, but you may want to change it. So let's go and get our own Google map. And to do that, just go to Google, type in maps, go to where you want to go. I've typed in the White House here for want of a better one. When you've got your address, zoom in or out to the how you want it to display, how close or far away. Hit the little share button here, then hit embed a map, copy HTML, tells me it's copied. We can go back to our brackets and simply swap it out here. Now I want to remember that height of 290. I think I'll do my width at 100% too. So we'll just, from the beginning of the iframe to the end of the iframe, just simply paste your new one in there. And width, we're going to make that 100%. Make sure not to lop off those inverted commas there. And 290, wasn't it? I think the height was. Doesn't matter too much, but it'll just push the contact form beside it deeper if we leave it as it was. So let's save that, Control S, we'll go back to the site and refresh. We should have the White House in there now. There we go. And that's a live map. You can scroll in and out. Great. So everything else here, this is all text. You know how to do that. These are just links to your various socials. If you haven't got one of these, just simply delete the line. And we've got the footer, copyright and link there. Just put in your own details for that. just to show you where it is, if we go on down, here's the footer credits. That's the newsletter. Here's the title for the footer credits. As you can see, footer top right there. Put in your address, obviously, all the white stuff here. Here are links to the various pages. You can put your section links in there if you want to. So each section has got a name, ID, contact. So if you wanted to go to the contact section, you'd simply put in hashtag contact. Of course, they haven't got one of those. Okay, let's go to services or something like that. Let's go up. It's the end of the services section. Services section ID is services, so you need hashtag services. So if we go back down, there's the services. It's already got a hashtag in there, which takes you to the top of the page. Just put the CSS ID in after the hashtag there, or if you want to take them to an external link, you know how to do that. Same with our other links right here. Here's your social media. Let's get rid of Google Plus because it doesn't exist anymore. Simply select the line, hit delete, and again put your URL where that hashtag is to take them to whatever place you want to take them. Here's the copyright info. Put your own in there. All rights reserved, that's fine. Designed by, whatever you want to put down the bottom, with a link to wherever you want to take them. I'll just put a hashtag in there. I'll just take them back to the top. Okay, and we're pretty much done. The only thing, you don't need to mess with any of the scripts down the bottom here. Let's save that. Back to the site. Now we're going to want to make this contact form send to your email address, and also anybody that puts a email in here, it wants to send you your email address. And let's just refresh. That should say boot 5 now, and services should take us back up to services, and we should have lost the Google Plus. I don't see it there, so boot percentage, I obviously hit the percentage instead of the 5. Services, as you can see, takes us back up to the services section. And that was it really. So okay, we need to make this form send to yourselves. So let's go back to our folder. Now if we go back to the root folder where everything starts, you're going to see forms underneath, and here you've got a contact form, which is both the contact and the sub. We can open that with brackets. It may throw up an error about PHP because you can't run this unless you're on a live server. No, that's fine. And simply on line 10 here, you just want to put your email address in there. Make sure you don't cut off those little inverted commas either side. So you'll just want to put me at myemail.com, or whatever email address it is you want the message delivered to. Hit the save and you're good to go. Now you can simply select all of this, upload it to your server, and that's it, you're done. You will have a live site. So there you have it. There is how to edit a Bootstrap 5 template. And Bootstrap 5 is great. It's really fast loading. I mean, it'll load so much faster than our WordPress site. And if I'm doing any sort of site other than an e-commerce or a blog, I usually use Bootstrap. It really is good. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.